Good morning. Morning, guys and girls. So I'm being rewarded this morning on my Roblox short. They have a lawsuit that was mentioned yesterday. I didn't add more shares yesterday, unfortunately. I shorted it on Tuesday and added on Wednesday. Kind of just sat through a little bit of pain on this pop yesterday, but it closed fairly weak by day's end because of that lawsuit. So that was nice. And then, kind of a nasty gap down. For any of you guys who watched the watch list video last night, you guys will have heard me kind of talk about Roblox and
Fed school's been currently on.
kind of some of my opinion about that. So, Jazz, thank you. Yeah, I had a lot of fun chatting with Riz. Joby with some news this morning. Open Doors up too. Got a little bit of weakness in Palantir yesterday. I guess Citron's also said that they were short this name. Going to get a little bit of a gap down today. Nothing too crazy. I wouldn't be totally surprised if we came down to the 10-day today, 177. It could just be as simple as crude oil's going down. Doug, that's the thinking, right? That's their biggest cost input, I would assume. Maybe next to employment. So, if crude oil's going down, here's the thing. You don't ever really have to try and make sense of why something is going up, because the who forces something to go up, our institution. So if as a group they're acting well, that's all you really need to know. Now it's like, okay, they're acting well. How the hell do I get on board? Ideally, more than just one name is acting well. And for now, that's just UAL. And then obviously you got a few of these manufacturers that are acting well, but UAL is acting the best. United and Delta. Yeah, FTAI is a interesting name. They're building a huge base. They went on a massive run already. They've gone on a huge run, just very, very steady. And then a new base. Yeah, they do not look too bad. Would I rather trade something like BTBT? It's just sloppy. I look at BTBT and there hasn't been many instances, maybe right in here, where this thing just trends cleanly above the 20-day. Very briefly in here. Otherwise it's just been very sloppy and it's not really a clean trender. Iron, on the other hand, has shown longer spurts of this. But, again, another one of these that hasn't been the cleanest. But, yeah, Iron I don't hate. APLD as of recent has been pretty decent price action. You like Galaxy to go? I can't buy Galaxy on a gap up. I mean, look at how disgusting this is. If you want to buy Galaxy, you probably want to do it buying it off of the ascending, 20-day, or buy a pullback to an ascending moving average. No, I wouldn't be playing Wolf as a HVC. Just because Google took a position in them, I would wait for, like a high tech flag. Wait for it to go sideways. No, I wouldn't buy UNH on a gap up. What was the news on UNH other than the fact that Warren Buffett bought some? That's the news on UNH. Warren Buffett bought some. Some other hedge fund managers bought some. Yet it's still below the 200 simple moving average. Nothing wrong with being patient with UNH and owning it when it's actually in an uptrend. Right? The 200-day says it's in a downtrend. Look at Palantir here, for instance. See the direction of this red line, this 200-day? See how it stayed above it this entire time since 2023? See that? You want to look at UNHs and tell me what it's doing? Yes. Could it go higher? Of course it can. Is it in a long-term uptrend? No, it's not. I'd rather focus on things in long-term uptrends. UUU's getting cleaner. This is like a rare earth play. No real earnings and sales, but not bad. Bull. I feel like the way I feel about Bull is this one could work, but it will work only if Hood is also working. And I rebought, should I say, Hood yesterday against the 20-day. So, Bull looks all right. It looks all right. But I prefer to own Hood. When the market starts to get a little bit extended, which I believe we are now, I still think that the NASDAQ's a bit crowded. NAIM came down a little bit, so there is still some active money managers who've got some money on the sidelines, and they're probably also waiting for a bit of a pullback. If and when that pullback happens, that'll be the best time to look for names that were showing relative strength. On the flip side of that, you kind of heard me talking about Roblox, and, I started to get short this thing on Tuesday. I added on Wednesday. I kind of sat through this pop yesterday, and then obviously they're being sued. So, I don't know that this is the reason for this, gap down in the morning, but focus on names that have some relative weakness while the market has been going up. So, on Tuesday, the market was acting well. Yesterday, the market rebounded pretty nicely, and, Roblox started to fade off. So over and over and over, even on Wednesday, right? Wednesday, the market is just ripping, right? And what do you get? You get Roblox rolling over. So focus on names if you want to short on names that are showing relative weakness. That's kind of the best place to park your eyes on names that do want to go lower, right? When the market's going up, what names are already starting to go down? That's your clue. My thoughts on Joby. Yeah, I mean, they had some news this morning. I don't necessarily love the chart just yet. Tesla, I don't mind. I'm trying to add more to Tesla if we can shape up. As long as we stay above the 200, we're okay in my book. No, VSAT's extended. Okay, so think about it like this. VSAT moves 6.7% per day, and it's up almost 70% from the 50-day moving average. Right? So it's more than 10 times its average true range from the 50. Right? I don't buy stocks more than 4 times their average true range from the 50. There's your answer. Historically, you start buying stocks more than 4 times their average true range from the 50. Like, we are already in trim zone on VSAT. Yeah, app's not bad. Could be a higher low setup. I wouldn't want to see this thing fail anymore. Be nice to see app hold on to the 10-day. AMDL. This is just leveraged AMD. I don't know that AMD is ready to go higher just yet, but it does look really good. It does look nice and strong. Yeah, symbiosis, this thing kind of keeps hanging in there. Yeah, it's not really going away just yet. Nice tight day. We'll see if we can get back, going higher. For me personally, I think, TNA is my best idea at the moment, I think. I'm not sure. Yeah, nice bounce back. Talked about this one yesterday too on the watch list video. Hanging in there. Did a nice job coming back. Like, there are names that had this like big volatility bar on earnings, right? Think about something like Rocket Lab, right? You had this like pretty big volatility bar on earnings, and then you just haven't been able to bounce back towards those highs, right? Unity, for instance, has, right? So this is good tennis ball action. This is kind of what you want to see. Yeah, it could be a higher low setup on App 11. Don't love this setup right now, but yeah, PCT, it's just a little thin. Bullish on China. Yeah, I'll be bullish on BABA and PDD down the road. I'm waiting for BABA earnings. I haven't seen them yet. I thought we were supposed to get them, and I haven't seen them. ARQQ's far too thin. Not a chart I would play. Circle, you're already late to the short, man. You're already late. The short was against the 20-day. When this thing popped up and hit the 20-day around $186, and the rejection, your short was, somewhere between probably 186 and 180. Just so you could limit risk. You start shorting it here, like, where's the risk reward? Literally 1 month ago, this thing was at $260, and now you want to come into it potentially, Geo, when it's 50% lower. I mean, don't you want to get the 50% on your money? Well, considering Hood and TNA, those are effectively dip buy setups. So when you've got such tight risk, right? You could go a little bit bigger. So for instance, even on something like Hood yesterday, I noticed that it was starting to bounce on the 20-day, and then it just kind of created a nice little flat pivot intraday, right? So as soon as it started to take out this flat pivot, 109.5 is when I got situated. And, your stop is low of day. So how big could you go? Even a little bit bigger than you think, but just I like to keep all my positions at the moment under 10%, right? I don't want to size things up too big. Yeah, HSAI has just been super choppy, but yes, big weekly base. Everything is caught up, everything is tightened up. Ideally, another little bit of a, oh yeah, we're gapping up this morning on earnings. Wow, 25.16. Oh, we're out of the base. So, yeah, I don't know that I would buy it this morning. I would just be patient for a high volume close. VRT, I don't love the action past 2 days, right? It looked like it was going to break this small little shelf and have continuation, and then all of a sudden, pick up in volume 2 days in a row to the downside. When and if we get to the 50-day, if we start to bounce from there, maybe that's buyable there. CLS was one of those earnings winners. You just let this thing chop around longer. Look, zoom out on the daily, right? Such a giant move, right? 250% move basically from the April lows. Let it build a new base. CLS kind of hurts me too. I owned it at $100. Yep. Yeah, I saw the news on Roblox, and I'm already short, so do I prefer the 5-day ADR or 20-day? I like when something's breaking out, obviously, for 5-day ADR to be expanding, or even ATR to be expanding if it starts to gap up a little. Yeah, QUBT, kind of a joke. This is the weaker of the bunch. I would suspect this thing, to eventually die. But, no real opinions on these quantum names. SOC, yeah, not bad. Moves 6% per day, trades 80 million bucks a day. We've seen a lot of this though, right? You get these big sticks and then you just do nothing for some time. But yeah, earnings didn't do anything wrong. I don't know much about this name, to be honest with you. AMLX way too thin. Trades less than 10 million bucks a day. You know why you really wouldn't want to own Nike, Golan? It's so slow. 2.28% per day. I mean, of course it can go higher, but you get this gap up over the 200 and then you've just been digesting this whole time. It's not really that special of a name. I use something called 620 setups. Smaller time frame. Wow. Sub 100 for CoreWeave. Yikes. I don't know much about NVTS, but I don't think they're that special. They're basically just up because they've got NVIDIA bought a position in them or something like that. They report on the 21st. Thank you, Evan. Appreciate you guys. Yeah, JCI. JCI is another one just short. Looks like a short, just like Roblox, but it's slow. That's the only problem. 1.76% per day, or even Roblox 4.44. But we are speeding up nicely here. Yeah, PGEN's cool. Nice Nice base here. It's just so thin. Guys, be careful trading names that only trade, less than 10 million bucks a day. Yeah, also be careful with any GG. It's being completely gamed right now. Trust me. Once it actually cracks, there's a long way to go down. No, when I buy something, as long as you're buying things within theme or in the right group or a nice clean technical setup, you should be able to limit your risk, and you can always add to something down the road. But even if you're position trading it, right? Like ARC has now become a position trade. It started as a swing trade, right? But ARC, I bought over 2 months ago and I'm still sitting there, right? So now I'm using the 50-day for my stop. It's a position trade. If the 200 so happens to catch up to, $70, I'll be using the 200 on it. Well, I was hoping Roblox would be actionable for me this morning. I don't know if you didn't watch the watch list video last night, but I guess I would suggest to do that. Yeah, not sure what's going on with Uber. It is building a new base, so going to keep this name on watch, but I don't know, that I feel any particular way about this name. It's got to get moving at some point soon. Yeah. A lot of names have acted like this, guys. A lot. And I don't know what's going to happen to them, right? Like, look at Dash, you get the push on earnings, and then you start to come down multiple days in a row, right? You had Groupon do the same thing. You've had, it looks the same, just with more volatility. Duolingo has done the same thing. So many names have done literally the exact same thing. There's too many for me to even remember, honestly. So many names have done the same thing. Tanzan, thank you, man. Appreciate it. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. It could be because my mic is close to my desktop, but I don't know what the deal is. It's got to be it. Maybe that'll help. Oh yeah, AMAT heard a bunch of names. AMAT. Then you also had LRCX report. No good. Or report and then rip, and then all of a sudden getting hit on that. And then you also had, was it KLAC? Yeah, another one. I focus on probably 4 to 6 names, sometimes maybe 8 names, and I just make sure I set my alerts. But then not only that, I'm focusing on what is going on throughout the day. Yeah, I buy pullbacks to the 10 and 20 day. It's exactly how I just talked about how I bought Hood. INSW is a shipper. Yeah, just make sure that other names in the market or within its group are acting well. Technically this could be a higher low setup. So for some people, as it's bouncing off the 20 day, if it takes out yesterday's highs, could be a higher low setup. That's exactly what the 620 setup is. Where the 6 crosses over the 20, coined by Gil Morales. Yeah, FTAI is not bad. Big base. I don't know if it's going to go, but keep your eyes on the group. I'm already short Roblox, yeah. I've been short Roblox for 3 days now. I shorted this on 8/12. I've shorted it on, I'll tell you right now. My 2 spots that I've shorted, 130.55, 127.44. And no, I don't plan to short more after market opens, right? We're gapping down 10 points. Could it just come down another dollar or two and find support on the rising 50 and then I'm adding and totally destroying my trade? Maybe. So I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to let it work for now. It might even be that I take advantage of this gap down and cover a few at the market open. So Mustafa, the idea is when the market was hitting all-time highs and the market was ramping, right? This thing had made a move down. I would suggest before I keep going, you got to watch my nightly watch list videos, dude. I talked about exactly the why and what it was doing and what it reminded me of. Spotify is not bad. I've tried this name before, but just continue to chop myself out through here. Just chopping myself up in here. It's very annoying to get situated. But Spotify and Netflix are trying to reclaim the 50-day. They might as well be twins. In my opinion, this one needs longer too. STX needs a bigger base. Look at how massive this move is, guys. You get these 150%, 200% moves. Like everybody just wants them to continue, but it just needs a longer base. Could I be wrong? 100% I could be wrong, but MP would start looking good for me if it had a week or more of consolidation. Yeah, the 50 needs to catch up. People want charts that have gone vertical to keep going vertical, but that's not how it works. It's not how it works. And people then end up showing up at the wrong. It would need a little bit more, maybe 2 weeks. Core needs to take out the high volume close. SE not bad. It made a really nice move and then just built a nice long base. This one's also got to get going over 174. Thanks, Chain. Happy to help, man. Man, I hate this name too. QUBT. What an absolute turd this thing is. Open CEO steps down. Eric Jackson's going to be the new CEO. How do I get volume to show green or red? It's based on this time frame's average volume bar. The current time frame that I'm looking at. So like, a 5 minute might look, red because the prior bar was massive. But, a daily, you're green because it was a pickup in volume over yesterday. Right? Almost 2 times the average volume versus a normal day. Win looks great. I thought, was it LVS looked a little bit better. Yeah. I don't know that I love these names because they move so slow. I'm personally just waiting for a DraftKings to shapen up. Gambling related, Yeah, this PGY has made a huge move too. A little bit longer in terms of sideways. It's not very extended, honestly. Yeah, not bad. TLN. Needs more sideways. It's like 7 times its average true range from the 50. You can't buy names that are extended, brother. My thoughts on BLSH, I don't like the price action at all. I mean, right from day one, this thing rips to 118 and then drops all the way to 70. I mean, loses 40% like that. I don't know that Intel gets the government treatment. In fact, I don't like that the government would potentially buy some Intel. At first, Trump wants the CEO fired, and now what the hell did that Intel CEO do in the White House to get Trump to potentially buy 15%? I'm good, dude. I'm good. I don't need to own this laggard anyway. Even if it went to 40, it wouldn't. It's not like I'd be like, oh my god, I missed Intel. Yeah, that was super dirty price action yesterday, Eric. Yeah, thank you, Varun. Roblox was not, I don't want to say a layup, but one of the lesser stressful shorts I've had in the last few weeks. Yeah, Carvana, another one of these that gapped up on earnings, started to fade off. But as long as we're holding the 50-day, the way I look at this is like, are these higher lows? Could be. Where it's like every time it comes down, it's holding onto the 50, it's building higher lows. SCX, copper, it really depends how copper's acting. Yeah, I'm not very in tune at the moment with what copper's doing. Let's take a peek. Yeah, copper still looks like shit, but huge drop already. I don't know that I'd get involved there. Willdan, yeah, they had a nice move on earnings. Yeah, there's nothing to do here. Like, do you look at this chart and go, oh, it's gone from 40 to 120 in a couple of weeks, and like now you're supposed to come in and buy this thing? I don't only trade momentum bursts, but that's what I'm looking for as a reason for when I buy my chart. I'm looking for a little momentum burst, and then I take some off from there. Yeah, I don't see tons to do this morning. Whew. When you thought it couldn't get worse. Yeah, I don't know that Tesla's just Bible. It's got to get over prior day high at least. I am in there though, 325. Ah. No, I don't trade. If they're publicly traded in the United States, then yes. But I don't trade outside of the United States. Also, if it went to 70, that doesn't necessarily give me a trade that I would like to take. It depends how quickly it washes out to that level. Like if it were to do it, by Tuesday next week, then yeah, maybe you've got a trade on your hands. But if it were to do it very slowly, then maybe not. Almost time for a little coffee. Can I summarize my rules? I focus on stocks in leading groups with good earnings and sales and a clean technical setup that I understand. I size properly. I look for 3 to 5 day momentum bursts so I can trim into. I trim into strength. And then when stocks get extended, I trim more into strength. I don't buy names that are extended. And that's about it. When the market is coming off of a correction is when I really focus in on relative strength. If you do your job while the market is correcting, you'll find the leaders. And then when the market has gone up like this is when you want to start to track relative weakness, because if the market gives you distribution, right, you've already got your eyes on names that are showing relative weakness, and that's how you find your biggest losers. Right? That's about it. Yeah, somebody asked me about UUU already. It looks fine. It's running with rare earth plays, which I still think a few of them are extended, and UUU is the laggard in the space, but could go. Nope. I hear that a lot where everybody thinks that starting with day trading to build an account and then move to swing. Day trading is much more difficult by a mile. Like by a mile. Like, okay, just imagine you look, let's take this chart for example here. Okay. This chart ends up doubling in a few months. So you could have, if you bought the little breakout, here you go, you catch a double on your portfolio basically. Or if you have 20% of your account, you move your portfolio 20%. If you're going to like trade this breakout as a day trade, you made peanuts, dude. Like day trading is more conducive to improperly sizing because you're trying to make money today. And then you end up during periods of chop, you end up chopping yourself up. Like think about a name like Palantir. Do you really think you were going to make money even as a day trader in here? Like how do you know what day is up, what day is down? Right? You don't. So it's like day trading is such a niche. There's a reason 90% of people actually fail, right? It's because day trading is very difficult, very difficult. And you have to come up with a bright idea every single day to make money. And then it's like the new hot stock of the day, the new earnings mover, the new name, shitty biotech moving up on random news, the new news that just hits your tape and the news wire, and oh my God, and then it spikes and then you chase it and then it dumps because everybody market orders and then it rips right back up. It's like, dude, what? I mean, you might as well, I don't know what to say about it, but it's the worst fucking way to trade. It's not even close. It's not even close. Of course, I have a process for pullback buys. Well, here's the thing, Timo. I started day trading in the hottest market since 1999 and 2000. So yes, it was very easy. Sympathy plays, right? You every day you had a stock that was up 100, 200, 400, 600%. So what would I do? I would go looking for the sympathy play, the one to run with it. It is very easy at times. In fact, we even get those kind of situations nowadays. Right? It's the same thing like when you had Open Door, right? Everybody started looking for the stocks that were highly shorted, pieces of shit on the verge of bankruptcy, right? So names like GoPro, names like Donut, a name like Kohl's, KSS. So it's like if you are highly shorted, it like creates that mean kind of craze, and you just kind of got to know what it is you're looking for. Right? If Tesla were to start to absolutely rocket higher today, let's say, like it just was up 12, 15%, what do you think is also going to start to get some love? Rivian and Lucid. Very simple. So you could go and trade those, day trade those with a bunch of money and do just fine on the day. But, it's like every day you have to come up with a new idea. So every day you have to come up with a new idea. So yes, it's a pain in the ass. Do I think 100% a year consistently is doable for many years? Yes. And in most instances, much better than that too. Yeah, Kulamagi Christian. He's one of the people that I looked up to when I was starting to trade and kind of make my transition to swing trading, because his style resonated with me, and obviously his story was super cool. Once being a mall cop, starting with a small amount of money, it reminded me of myself in a way too. Wasn't quite a mall cop, but very cool story. Yeah. As Ed Sakota once said, ride the trend till the end. One good trend pays for them all. And this has been one awesome trend. Apologize with the dogs. How did I study, Christian? Dude, there is a whole library, like countless hours worth, of material that you can study from. What was the most I ever risked on a single trade? I don't know, like percent wise. I mean, I've taken 10% portfolio hit before, larger on one trade, and it wasn't intentional. I just got caught because the company was raising money, and it was on CCJ, and I had the best thesis in the world for it too, and there was a reason I was long and everything, so I got super aggressive. And then looking at it today, it's like, you'd be up a couple $1,000,000 on it had I just stuck with it. That was one of my largest percent losing gains or losing trades, and also one of the largest dollar amounts I've lost. Yeah, Tesla could be decent today. Again, what's the reason that you wouldn't click the button? It's not hard to increase my position sizing over time. You got to think about things in terms of percentage, not dollars, right? Focus on the percentage. The moment you start thinking about the dollars, it stops making sense, right? You got to think about it. What's it in terms of percentage? nothing really special about this setup here. I mean, it's in an uptrend, but there's nothing really special about ESLT. AUR is not even above a uptrending 200-day. It's below a flattening 200-day. Nothing to do with it just yet. All right, guys, I got to get my butt going. Yeah, GRR is probably a short, honestly. It's already kind of hanging out at the lower part of this consolidation. It's done nothing for multiple quarters. One quarter, gap down, go sideways, quarter, gap up, give it all back. Another quarter, absolutely nothing. It's probably a short, honestly. Yeah, exactly. You want to buy young momentum, not old. He's not wrong. Guys, you guys enjoy the rest of your day. Please trade them well today and enjoy your weekend. I will see you guys on Monday morning. Trade them well today. Yep, I will see you guys